I'm Bridget Foster, 35, a teacher who thought family meant everything, at a family dinner. My mother-in-law's voice sliced through Heartless after your son's accident. My father-in-law slung wine in my face, barking, "I'll put you in jail months later." They dragged me to court, swearing I'd smeared their name. But when I played the video of that night, their world crumbled. 5 years ago, I married my husband, an engineer with a steady heart, dreaming of a big family. As Christians, we waited, then welcomed 4 kids, 3 boys, 1 girl, our youngest a 3-year-old spark of joy. But one pregnancy shattered us. A hidden tumor stole our future, left me spiraling, and set the stage for a loss that broke our souls. That dinner wasn't just a meal, it was a battlefield where family turned foe, where blame cut deeper than grief. They thought they could bury me with lies. But what happened next wasn't just about surviving, it was about exposing truth and protecting my kids. Stay tuned, because this fight reveals what family really means when trust burns to ash. If you've ever been turned against, blamed, or mocked by your own family, what would you do? Hit that like button, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. Let's see how far this story spreads. That fight started long before the dinner. My husband and I had always wanted a large family, so after our wedding, we began trying. 4 months in, I got pregnant with our first son. A year later, our daughter came along. Another year passed, and we had our second son. Then, 3 years after that, our youngest son arrived. But this pregnancy was different. I kept complaining about back pain and soreness the whole time. During delivery, the doctors found a tumor in my uterus and did emergency surgery. I recovered fine, but they said no more children for us. The news hit me hard. I slipped into postpartum depression, feeling like I'd failed my husband by not giving him the big family he wanted. He reassured me it was okay, but my sadness lingered for months. I extended my maternity leave from 4 to 8 months. As a teacher, I loved my job, but the thought of going back felt overwhelming. My husband, an engineer, was my rock, handling more at home. We were close to his sister Kendra, so I called her for help. She came over often, making things easier. But her mother didn't like me or how we raised our kids for some reason. She constantly compared her grandchildren to ours, saying our oldest son's chess obsession was unhealthy. He's a national junior champion, but she thought he should play sports like normal kids. We talked to him, and he loves chess. It doesn't affect his life. She also made snide remarks about our daughter, but we brushed it off mostly. Kendra said it was just her way. Kendra was great around the house, lightening our load. I adore my husband, he's the best father. But with my depression, I got careless sometimes. It didn't happen with our first, but the emotions built up. I'd leave the stove on, and he'd turn it off without telling me. Knowing I was struggling, I didn't want to add to my burden. Then it happened, while my husband was at work. I took the kids to the mall for a treat. Our youngest was running ahead in the food court. I turned for a second to order, and he tripped near the escalator. The fall was bad, he hit his head. We rushed to the hospital, but after 6 hours of surgery, he didn't make it. I have no clear memory of the exact moment, and I can't bring myself to relive it. It was the worst day of our lives. For the next 4 months, my husband and I coped as best we could, hurting inside but pushing on for our other children. The guilt ate at me. How could I have let that happen? Our oldest noticed my tears, asking why I was sad. We explained it was an accident, but the pain lingered. Kendra checked in, offering support, but her mother stayed distant, only sending a card. Little did I know her silence hid judgment. As teachers and engineers in our community, We tried to keep routines normal school for the kids, work for us. But depression made simple tasks hard. I'd forget lunch boxes or mix up schedules. My husband covered for me, saying we'd get through it. Our daughter started drawing pictures of her brother, saying she missed his hugs. It broke my heart every time. The mall trip was meant to be fun, a break from the house. Instead, it became our nightmare. The doctors said it was a freak accident, but I blamed myself. Support groups helped a bit, but the emptiness remained. 4 months in, we decided a family gathering might help the kids connect with relatives. That's when the real storm began. The grief hit hard after that mall day. For 4 months, my husband and I navigated the emptiness, focusing on our 3 remaining children. Our oldest son threw himself into chess tournaments, winning awards but barely speaking about his brother. Our middle son asked why his sibling wasn't coming home, his questions stabbing like knives. Our daughter clung to me, drawing endless pictures of our family with one figure missing. I returned to teaching, but lesson plans blurred through tears. My husband buried himself in engineering projects, coming home late to avoid the quiet house. We attended a support group, sharing stories with strangers who understood the ache. Kendra called weekly, bringing meals and listening without judgment. She suggested a family gathering to let the kids see relatives. My husband's family had been supportive at first, sending cards and flowers, but their calls tapered off. I thought it was out of respect for our pain. Little did I know it masked something darker. We agreed to the dinner at my in-laws' home, hoping it would lift the kids' spirits. Everyone showed up, uncles, aunts, cousins offering hugs and sympathies in hushed tones. The room felt heavy, but the children laughed with their cousins, splashing in the backyard sprinkler. It was a rare moment of normalcy. My mother-in-law Irene busied herself in the kitchen, avoiding eye contact. My father-in-law Joel grilled burgers, chatting about work to fill the silence. Kendra pulled me aside, whispering that her parents had been acting odd. I shrugged it off, not wanting to stir trouble. Then the kids got rowdy, knocking over a table and scratching our new SUV in the driveway. We gathered them, explaining why pranks like that weren't okay, including Kendra's son. Irene stormed out, yelling that we had no right to discipline her grandchildren and that it was probably our kids' fault. I stood my ground, saying all the children were involved. Tension rose as relatives wandered over. That's when Irene dropped it. Maybe this is why your son had that accident. The words landed like a punch. I burst into tears and fled to the bathroom, my husband following. Joel burst in after us, face red, grabbing my arm. "Bridget, calm down." She didn't mean it that way. I pulled away, staring in shock. Kendra slipped in, closing the door. "I'm sorry. What Mom said was horrible," my husband demanded. "Then why is everyone out there acting like it's fine?" Joel sighed. "She's stressed. You know how she gets." Irene pushed past, arms crossed. "Oh, please. It's just words. You can afford to fix the car, unlike us with our bills." The relatives shuffled awkwardly outside. I wiped my eyes. She blamed me for my son's accident. Joel waved it off. "You're emotional right now. Let's not make a scene," Kendra snapped. "No, Dad." Mom crossed a line, but Joel and Irene doubled down, with Irene sneering, Heartless. "That's what you are after your son's accident." Joel hurled his wine glass at me, the liquid splashing my face as he roared. "I'll put you in jail for negligence if you keep this up," I recoiled, soaked and stunned. My husband shoved between us. "That's enough." The family stood silent, no one defending us. Uncles studied their shoes. Aunts avoided our gaze. Only Kendra spoke up. But Irene cut her off. You're overreacting, pregnancy or not. I've never been cruel like that. I had been pregnant 4 times, and hormones never made me vicious. The silence from the others stung worst. They chose comfort over calling out cruelty. I gathered the kids, explaining we had to leave because some situations aren't healthy. As we drove away, texts flooded in, guilting us to forgive for family's sake. But I knew then family wasn't blood. It was who protected you. The silence followed us home. I locked myself in the bedroom, sobs shaking my body. While my husband gathered the kids in the living room, Kendra texted immediately, apologizing for her parents' behavior. I couldn't respond yet. My own mother, Lorraine, called, her voice hesitant. "Honey, I heard it got heated. She's just upset about the car scratch." I wiped my face. Upset. She blamed me for our son's accident. Lorraine paused. "Well, she's always had a sharp tongue. You know how family is." "No, I didn't. Family shouldn't weaponize grief." We hung up, and texts from relatives poured in, urging forgiveness to keep peace. My aunt wrote, "Don't let this tear us apart." An uncle added, "She's family. Bridget, let it go." I showed my husband. He shook his head. "They're choosing her comfort over our pain." Kendra arrived unannounced. Knocking softly, I let her in, and she hugged me tight. What Mom said was unforgivable. We sat on the couch, kids playing upstairs. Kendra bit her lip. "This isn't the first time." Remember cousin Nina. She lost her baby stillborn at a holiday party years ago. Mom commented it was nature's way because Nina was too old. My stomach churned. Nina had stopped coming to events after that, cutting contact. Why didn't anyone tell us Kendra sighed? Because Dad always excuses Mom, and Lorraine thinks unity matters more than calling out cruelty. They'd rather enable her than risk arguments. Another knock. Lorraine stood at the door, casserole in hand. "Can we talk?" I nodded, but my husband stayed close. She set the dish down. "I know it was bad, but she's your mother-in-law. Family forgives?" I raised my hand. "Forgive? She called me heartless for our son's death." Lorraine shifted. Words in anger. "You've been emotional since the loss." My husband interrupted. "Emotional. Our 3-year-old is gone, and you blame us." The room tensed. Lorraine tried again. "For the kids' sake. Patch it up." But I saw it. Her priority was avoiding conflict, not protecting us. We asked her to leave. That night, I scrolled social media for distraction. Irene's post popped up, "Some mothers are neglectful, and accidents happen." Sad but true. Comments agreed, tagging me indirectly. My blood boiled. She was spreading lies publicly. I screenshotted it, then blocked her. My husband did the same for his accounts. Kendra warned us. "She's rallying the family against you." Sure enough. More texts came, from cousins and aunts, guilting us for overreacting, one said. Pregnancy or not, words aren't worth breaking family, but Irene wasn't pregnant. Her excuse was just habit. We blocked them all, one by one. Lorraine's number was hardest. She'd been my rock once. But her silence at the dinner spoke volumes. The kids noticed the change. Our oldest asked why no play dates with cousins. I explained gently. Sometimes adults disagree, and we need space. He nodded, but his eyes showed confusion. Our daughter hugged her doll tighter, whispering she missed her Aunt Kendra. We assured her Kendra was still welcome. She'd chosen us. As days passed, the isolation felt both freeing and heavy. No more tiptoeing around Irene's jabs, but the Wukong post lingered, a shadow over our healing. I documented everything, knowing it might escalate. My husband held me close. We're done swallowing their poison, and we were. The family we'd known ended that night, replaced by boundaries we never thought we'd need. Irene didn't stop there. A week after that dinner, my husband's company threw an office party to celebrate a big project win. We brought the kids, thinking it would be a safe space for them to have fun while we mingled. The daycare nearby offered extended hours for employees' families, so we dropped our 3 off there. I was chatting with colleagues when Irene showed up uninvited, striding into the office with a forced smile. She claimed she was there to help pick up her grandchildren, saying we'd been distant since the dinner. I froze. The daycare staff, confused, called me to confirm. I rushed over, my husband trailing behind. Irene stood at the front desk, arguing loudly. I'm their grandmother. There's been a mix-up, and Bridget's keeping the kids from family out of spite. My stomach twisted. The staff, following protocol, refused to release the kids since she wasn't on the pickup list. Irene's voice grew shrill, drawing a crowd of coworkers. Some mothers don't watch their children properly, and accidents happen, she snapped, pointing at me. That's why her son's gone. I felt my face burn, tears welling up. My husband stepped forward. Irene, leave, now. But she kept going, ranting about my neglectful parenting to anyone listening. Joel appeared behind her, nodding along, his glare fixed on me. You've caused enough trouble. Bridget, he said coldly. That's when our neighbor Opal, who worked at the same company, pulled out her phone and started recording. I didn't notice at first, too shaken by Irene's words. She continued, It's no wonder your son had that accident. You were never fit to be a mother. The crowd gasped, and whispers spread. My husband grabbed my hand, pulling me back as I shook with anger. Kendra arrived, having heard from a coworker, and pushed through. Mom, stop this, she yelled. But Irene ignored her. Opal kept filming, her face grim. I managed to choke out. You're lying to everyone, Irene. You know it was an accident. She smirked. Accident or not. You failed him. The daycare staff intervened, asking Irene to leave. She stormed out with Joel, tossing one last jab. This isn't over that evening. Opal sent me the video. I watched it, hands trembling as Irene's venomous words played back. My husband hugged me. This is proof of who she is. I nodded, saving the file. By morning, the video had spread on Facebook, posted by Opal's daughter, who'd been at the party. She didn't ask us, but we didn't mind it showed the truth. Comments flooded in, shocked coworkers and friends calling out Irene's cruelty. How could she say that about a grieving mother, one wrote. Another tagged Joel You stood there and let her. The post went viral in our small community, with people we barely knew sharing their outrage. Irene tried to delete her own neglectful mother post, but screenshots were everywhere. Kendra called, furious. I told Mom she's wrong, but she's doubling down, saying you provoked her. I sighed. She's making herself the victim. The next day, coworkers approached me at work, offering support. One said, I had no idea they'd stoop that low. Another, who knew Joel? Shook his head. He's telling people it was a misunderstanding, but the video spoke louder. Our daughter came home upset her friend's parents had seen it. Why does Grandma say mean things about you? She asked. I hugged her. Some people lash out when they're wrong. Sweetheart, my husband and I met with the daycare director, updating the pickup list to exclude Irene and Joel. She was understanding, saying, family issues are tough, but we'll keep your kids safe. As the week ended, the online storm grew. Relatives who'd stayed silent started messaging, some apologizing, others defending Irene. One cousin wrote, she shouldn't have said that, but don't air family business. I didn't reply. The truth was out, and we weren't hiding anymore. The video didn't end their attacks. 2 months after that office party chaos, a process server knocked on our door with a lawsuit from Irene and Joel. They claimed slander and emotional distress, pointing to my public shaming on social media as the cause. Their complaint twisted everything, saying I'd orchestrated the video to ruin their reputation, even citing Irene's neglectful mother post as a defense. My heart sank reading their lies, but my husband squeezed my hand. We've got the truth. We hired lawyer Paula, a sharp family law expert who reviewed our case. She watched the Office video, nodding. Truth is our defense. Multiple witnesses heard Irene's accusations. I handed over screenshots, texts, and Kendra's accounts of past incidents. Paula built a case, warning us the process could drag. But Irene and Joel pushed for a quick hearing, likely hoping to pressure us. Kendra met us for coffee, her face tense. Mom's telling everyone you're destroying the family. I shook my head. She's destroying herself. The court date came fast. In the courtroom, Irene sat with a smug look, Joel stiff beside her. Their lawyer argued I'd spread lies to humiliate them, causing Irene stress and damaging Joel's business. Paula stood calm, presenting the Office video. The judge watched as Irene's voice rang out, accusing me of failing my son. Gasps filled the room. Paula added, "My client didn't post this, her neighbor did. Truth isn't slander." The judge shut down their case in minutes, citing no grounds for their claims. Irene's face crumpled. Joel stared at the floor. Paula pushed for a no-contact order, which the judge granted. It barred them from contacting us or our kids, including through family or online. Violation meant fines. We walked out, lighter but not healed. That video had exposed their cruelty, making them regret their words. Weeks later, Kendra called with news. Irene and Joel were divorcing. The lawsuit's fallout hit hard. Joel's clients dropped him, citing his public behavior, and Irene, a retired teacher, lost her part-time tutoring gig after parents saw the video. Relatives stopped inviting them to gatherings, leaving them isolated. I felt no joy, only relief. We joined a therapy group, where I met cousin Nina again. She shared how Irene's cruel remark about her stillborn baby years ago had pushed her to cut ties. "Seeing you stand up gave me strength," she said. I hugged her, tears falling. Therapy helped us process not just our son's loss, but the family's betrayal. My father, Marvin, called from out of state, where he'd moved after divorcing Lorraine. I heard about the court. He said quietly, "I left your mother because she always excused family cruelty for peace, like when her sister mocked a neighbor's loss. And she said it was just stress. I hadn't known that story. Why didn't you tell me?" He sighed. "You were young. I wanted you to see one parent stand for what's right." His words hit deep. The lawsuit settled nothing emotionally, but it drew a line. Our oldest son asked why his grandparents weren't around anymore. "They made choices that hurt us," I explained. He nodded, returning to his chessboard. Our daughter started painting again, her colors brighter. The no-contact order was a shield, protecting us from more poison. As months passed, co-workers and neighbors checked in, offering support. One said, "You didn't deserve that attack." Another dropped off a pie, saying, "You're stronger than they are." Kendra became our anchor, visiting often with her son, who played chess with ours. The family we'd lost wasn't worth keeping, not when they'd chosen lies over love. Irene and Joel's lives unraveled, but ours began to mend. Piece by painful piece, healing took time. As the holidays approached, we planned our first Thanksgiving without the old family. Kendra offered her home, and we invited Nina and Opal, who'd stood by us through the storm. No more crowded gatherings filled with tension or waiting for cruel remarks. Our kids helped set the table, their laughter a balm to the ache that lingered. Kendra's son Quentin joined our oldest in a chess match, their chatter light and easy. Nina brought her daughter, who played dolls with ours, giggling over shared stories. Opal arrived with a homemade pie, her warm smile easing the weight of the season. The meal felt different, smaller, but honest. No one tiptoed around unspoken grudges. We shared memories of our son, not as a weapon, but as a way to keep his light alive. Our oldest spoke up, saying he missed his brother's silly dances. Our daughter added, "He'd love this pie." I smiled, tears pricking my eyes, but they were softer now. Nina nodded, sharing a story of her own loss, her voice steady. Kendra squeezed my hand, whispering, "This is what families should be." My husband raised a glass, toasting to new beginnings. The kids ran off to play, their joy unburdened by the past. Quentin pulled me aside later, his teenage voice quiet. "I miss you guys." I hugged him. "We miss you too, but your parents made choices." He nodded, eyes downcast. Kendra had told me he'd texted secretly, apologizing for his mother's words. "It's not your fault," I assured him. "When you're older, we'll be here." He slipped back to the game, a small smile breaking through. The holidays passed with warmth we hadn't felt in years. Our oldest started coaching chess at the community center, his confidence growing. Our middle son joined a book club, diving into stories that sparked his curiosity. Our daughter's paintings won a school contest, her colors vibrant and bold. They were thriving, free from the shadow of judgment. Neighbors dropped by with gifts. Sensing our shift, one said, "You've built something real here." I nodded, grateful for the support we'd found. Kendra shared updates on the fallout. Irene and Joel lived separately now, their divorce finalized. Joel's business struggled, clients wary after his public outburst. Irene, once a respected teacher, faced whispers at community events. Her tutoring clients gone. They'd lost the family's trust. Their invitations to gatherings dried up. Even Lorraine, my mother, stopped defending them, choosing silence over excuses. I felt no satisfaction, only closure. Their choices had carved their loneliness, a consequence they'd earned. Quentin sent a letter months later, his handwriting neat. "I think about my cousin a lot. He was fun. I'm sorry for what Mom said. I hope we can hang out someday. I cried reading it, showing my husband. He's a good kid." He said. We wrote back, keeping it simple, wishing him well. The pain of our son's loss never faded, but we honored him differently now. We donated toys to the children's hospital in his name. Watching sick kids smile as nurses shared his story, it felt right, like he was still spreading joy. Our new traditions grew stronger. Christmas brought Kendra, Nina, and Opal back, along with a few neighbors who'd become like kin. We decorated a tree, the kids hanging ornaments with care. Our daughter crafted one for her brother, whispering, "This is for you." I held my husband's hand, feeling the strength we'd rebuilt. Therapy continued, giving us tools to navigate grief and betrayal. Nina became a close friend, her resilience inspiring. She said, "Cutting them off saved me. It's saving you too." I agreed. Family wasn't blood, it was who showed up, who chose compassion over cruelty. The old family was gone, and we didn't miss it. Their absence left space for love that didn't hurt. Our children grew, carrying their brother's memory with pride, not pain. We'd learned to protect what mattered, to draw lines that kept us safe. And in that safety, we found peace not perfect, but enough.